You're born smack in the middle of the Great Depression. While other babies hear lullabies, you hear layoffs. Your first breath is taken in a world gasping for money. You grow up hearing the world is ending, not from prophecy, but from bankruptcy. Morally and economically, everything's falling apart, and you're just learning how to walk. Your father is a stockbroker during the greatest market crash in history. Imagine being a fireman in a flood. Every conversation at home sounds like a financial obituary. You discover capitalism before you discover how to ride a bike. While other kids are learning balance, you're learning about buying low and selling high. Childhood's canceled. At 6, you start selling gum to your neighbors. Not because you're poor, because you're wired like that. They don't call you a future CEO. They call you the creepy little tax man. In school, you're the kid who does math for fun. While others draw dinosaurs, you draw compound interest curves. You're not bullied because you're weak. You're bullied because you're weird. At age 11, you make your first investment and lose money instantly. Congrats. You just got your first lesson in capitalism. Nobody cares how smart you are. The market bites. Your childhood heroes? Economists. While kids idolize cowboys and astronauts, you worship balance sheet analysts. You hang posters of Benjamin Graham. It's deeply unsettling. You learn early that profit is more valuable than empathy. If someone cries, your instinct isn't to comfort them, it's to audit their emotional liabilities. No one wants to trade cards with the kid reading financial statements during recess. While they dream of being athletes, you're correcting imaginary cash flow errors. You get rejected by Harvard. Finally, some character development. Turns out being a boy genius with stock picks isn't enough when you lack basic human charisma. You end up at Columbia instead, not for the parties, but to study under a guy who literally wrote a book on avoiding risk. Your mentor believes in fear. You're obsessed with numbers. Not in a fun Rain Man way. In a cold, calculating, emotionally bankrupt way. You can analyze a company, but can't read a room. You marry young, not for passion, for long-term value. While your peers fall in love, you fall into a tax-efficient domestic partnership. Romance but optimized. Your friends think preferred shares is some kind of bedroom kink. You explain it's a capital structure. They stop inviting you to dinner. You save everything, not just money, time, joy, spontaneity. You hoard potential experiences like they're liabilities. Even leisure has to show a return. You hate spending, even on yourself, even on your kids. Every dollar out feels like a betrayal. Generosity is a weakness in your fiscal religion. From early on, you trade memories for dividends. Beach trips become balance sheets. Instead of vacations, you take valuation exercises. Fun is a sunk cost, and that sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Clicking that like button, subscribing, leaving a comment that makes you sound smarter than everyone else. You skip parties to study financial statements. Not once, not occasionally, always. Music and laughter are background noise to EBITDA margins and leverage ratios. You're 20 years old but already sound like a retired actuary. While your classmates chase dreams, you're chasing quarterly earnings. You're not young, you're efficient. You start a company that only you understand. Everyone else nods politely while secretly wondering if it's a Ponzi scheme or a math cult. You call it elegant. They call it concerning. You spend more time with spreadsheets than with your children. You know the S&P's 5-year average return, but not your daughter's favorite color. Priorities. You become a millionaire before 30 and quietly miserable before 40. Wealth came fast. Turns out money buys freedom, but not peace of mind. You hate debt. Not just financial, emotional. You avoid obligations like their tax audits. Vulnerability? That's for people with worse returns. You master the art of making money by doing nothing, but you secretly hate it. You grew up working, and now your job is watching numbers move while feeling useless. You pretend to like CEOs in board meetings. Endless small talk with middle-aged men in blazers who think EBITDA jokes are edgy. You fake smiles like quarterly earnings. You're forced to sell your favorite companies to reduce tax burdens. Not because they failed, because they succeeded too well. Welcome to the Tax Code Hostage Club. You never learned how to turn off, even on Sundays, especially on Sundays. While the world rests, you stress about valuations and inflation like it's sacred scripture. You watch your friends die young. Cancer, car crashes, heart attacks. Meanwhile, you just keep compounding. Grief becomes part of the margin of safety. You diversify. Not just your portfolio, your emotional detachment. Love, loss, joy, all hedged. You're not building a life. You're building an asset allocation. You eat bacon and Coca-Cola every day and call it discipline. Not a craving. Not self-indulgence. No, it's a routine. A sugar-drenched monument to your bizarre brand of consistency. You've lived in the same house since 1958. Not because you have to, because you're stubborn. You call it frugal. Others call it a billionaire trapped in a time capsule. You despise technology, but somehow you became a Twitter legend. The irony: you've never used the app. You're a meme in a world you don't even log into. Your idea of leisure is reading annual reports from companies you already own. No mystery, no suspense, just cold numbers in serif font. This is your version of a thriller. You think spending money is a character flaw. You could buy countries, but you hesitate on extra guac. Every dollar saved is a small victory against indulgence. Your car is cheap, modest, and intentionally boring. You drive it like it's a protest against wealth. A billionaire flexing his ability to not care what anyone thinks. Your love life: let's just say quiet, not scandalous, not passionate, not even particularly public. You married stability, not fireworks. Love was never the goal. You have billions of dollars, but your idea of indulgence is a Dairy Queen blizzard. Luxury for you is soft-serve ice cream and no line at the drive-thru. That's the bar. You refuse to buy a smartphone. Still, in the age of instant everything, you're rocking landlines and paper maps. The Oracle of Omaha lives in analog, proudly frozen in time. You're constantly surrounded by fans, investors, acolytes, and yes, you know it. They call you brilliant. You call it exhausting. Being idolized is a full-time burden. You never retired. Not because you didn't have the chance, but because you literally never learned how to stop. Rest is for the poor. You keep working like the market depends on your heartbeat. Thousands hang on your every word, dissecting each syllable like it's prophecy. But if you had your way, you'd prefer silence. Too bad wisdom doesn't come with a mute button. Your personal life became a publicly traded myth. Everyone invests in you, but no one really understands you. You're a human stock ticker, volatile, valuable, and always observed. You live under constant pressure to seem wise all the time. One bad quote, and suddenly you're losing your touch. There's no off day when you're cast as the sage of capitalism. You make fewer mistakes than most mortals, but the world expects perfection. A decimal error from you causes global anxiety. You're not allowed to be human, just profitable. You're idolized by people who've never read a balance sheet. They quote you, praise you, worship you, but wouldn't know a P ratio if it bit them. You're a brand, not a mentor. The market loves you, but it also isolates you. Every handshake feels like a transaction, every friendship a potential headline. You're celebrated and completely alone. A single tweet about you can shift billions. You didn't ask for that kind of power. You just wanted to find undervalued stocks. Now you're the market's emotional barometer. Your entire existence has been trademarked. Your image, your sayings, even your quirks are monetized. You're a walking intellectual property portfolio with a heartbeat. Success became your golden prison. You made it, but now you can't leave. Every door opens to applause and closes behind expectation. You won, and now you're stuck in the victory lap. You gave away billions to health, to education, to humanity. And yet, the world's still burning. It's humbling when your fortune can't fix the very system that made it. You know the market will go on without you. In fact, deep down, you suspect it might even do better. The oracle's silence may be the most bullish signal of all. You preach patience, value, ethics, and then watched Wall Street twist your words into excuses for greed. Buffett said so became a license to exploit. Your favorite companies now have apps, mascots, and TikTok strategies. You bought railroads. They're selling NFTs. The empire you built speaks a language you can't stand. Berkshire Hathaway became a beast so big, even you're scared of it. It moves without you, breathes without you, and has grown into something even you can't fully control. You've lived long enough to become a myth, and to be misquoted endlessly. People chant your name, then completely butcher your ideas. Immortality comes with bad subtitles. Your most thoughtful advice has been boiled down to t-shirt slogans. Be greedy when others are fearful, now sold on mugs by people who don't even own stocks. You watch crypto become a global cult. You're the last rationalist in a casino filled with techno-profits. They call you out of touch. You call them delusional. Your public image is more carefully managed than your actual portfolio. PR handlers spin your quirks into charm. Every interview is a performance in humility cosplay. You built a life of logic, and now you're trapped in it. Success wrapped around you like straitjacket. You can't lose, but you also can't leave. The dream became the cage. Friends, all gone, dead or turned into advisors. The laughter faded. Now it's just polished small talk and nodding men with suits and quarterly agendas. Family? Complicated. Always has been. You built an empire on clarity, but your personal life has always been a tangle of misunderstandings, silence, and distance. One son's a musician, another's into philanthropy. Neither could explain EBITDA if their lives depended on it. Your bloodline never quite got the balance sheet. Your fans treat you like you're immortal, but you're not. You feel every creak in your bones, every tick of the clock, and no stock can buy back time. You're too old to change and too self-aware to lie to yourself about it. You know what you are. You just don't know how to be anything else. You don't trust anyone to take over. Not fully. Not the board, not the heirs, not even the chosen successors. Delegation is a risk, and risk is your original enemy. You are a prisoner of your own legacy. Every move must echo the myth. Every silence must feel wise. You don't live anymore. You perform Warren Buffett. You exist in a loop. Interviews, shareholder meetings, documentaries, tributes. Every day you wake up to more stories about yourself, none written by you. You know the world will go on without you. The markets will open, the indexes will climb, and nobody will pause. And strangely, you don't even blame them. And in the end, no one asks the real question, were you happy? They ask how much you made, how much you gave. But not once, did you enjoy any of it? And if you've got another poor soul you'd like to see suffer on this channel, drop their name in the comments. We might roast them next. In the meantime, click on the video popping up now to find out why being that person also totally sucks.